Thank you very much. Grab a seat. How you guys doing? Who hates math? Raise your hand. Good. Good to know where you are. Who loves math? Raise your hand. And who's sort of in the middle and could care less about math? Okay, that's all right, because we're going to try to tip you the other way, all right? Like Jim said, my name is Scott Flansburg. I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records as the fastest human calculator. And so I'm going to do a demonstration for you in a minute. But the most time we're going to spend today is on you. It's not about me. I have a gift, and I want to share it with you. But I believe the most important time we can share today is making sure that you can leave here doing something that you never thought you could do, to truly encapsulate that superhero feeling. And so to get started, is James in the back? Hey, come on up, James. Everybody give James a hand. He's going to run the calculator for us. We have a calculator. Okay, so I have to get started. I am not an athlete. I'm a mathlete, all right? All of you athletes know that you have to stretch out your body first and warm up. But as a mathlete, I have to warm up my brain first. So we're going to do some basic stuff and then try harder stuff as we go. But I'll need some volunteers to pick some numbers. So we need some really heavy voices probably to be able to have everybody here. So do I have a volunteer? Anybody? I need a... Okay, let's start right in the front. What's your name? Anton. So let's start off with addition. All right, let's do two-digit numbers to get started. So you'll say like 73. I'll say plus. You say another two-digit number. I'll say plus. Back and forth we're going to go. I'm going to try to add them up in my head. He's going to do it on the calculator. I have screens all around me, so it's very easy to cheat. I do not want to cheat. I don't need to cheat. So I will close my eyes. I'm going to go way over here next to James so I can't see these screens. I'll be over here. It's nothing personal against that side of the room. I just want to make sure I'm not cheating. So, Anton, you ready? We've got a 0 on the board, right? Where's our calculators? We got a 0. Okay, I'll close my eyes. You're going to say a number. I'll say plus. Back and forth we go. You ready? Okay, loud and clear. Ready? Go ahead.
47.
Plus.
56.
Plus.
98.
Plus.
32.
Plus.
12.
Plus.
19.
Plus.
27.
One more.
63.
354. Yeah, all right. Good job, Anton. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now I'm just curious, how many of you can do that? Remember your reaction to me asking you that. Most of you started laughing out loud. Some of you totally dismissed it. But I promise you, every one of you in this room can do what I just did, adding up a bunch of two-digit numbers in my head with no pencil, no paper. I figured out how to do that when I was 9 years old, so I'll share it with you, and it's real easy, all right? But let's keep moving forward. Need another volunteer? Somebody with a strong voice, please. You want to try it? You got to shout it out. Okay, what's your name? Kate. Kate, let's do a little more addition, please. Let's try three-digit numbers, all right? So I'll move over here. James, you ready to go? So you say a three-digit number, plus, back and forth we go.
Brilliant.
I'm ready when you are.
I don't have to shout. Awesome. 356.
Just say it normal like a human. 356.
356.
All right? Just kidding, all right? So 356 plus?
120.
Sorry?
120.
356 plus 120 plus?
742.
Plus?
893.
Plus?
567.
One more.
129.
2797. Oh, I think you guys typed it in wrong, just so you know, all right? Just check. Oh, we can look at the numbers. We'll rewind the tape, all right? But I promise you, I can usually do this very well, all right? Now, let's try one more. I need one more volunteer, please. Somebody else with a microphone. Okay, yeah, stay on the same table. Thank you. All right, let's try one more three-digit, all right? I just want to make sure I'm still warming up. Go ahead.
392.
Plus.
681.
Plus.
916.
Plus.
243.
See, it's the calculator, isn't it? See, the heck with it. We don't have to do anymore. I'm redeemed. All right, so let's move on. Let's try something tougher. We'll try multiplication, all right? Let's clear the calculator. James, thanks, buddy. You're making me look good. Don't worry about it. All right. Let's try multiplication, all right? Let's try two-digit numbers, and I'm going to multiply them together while he does it on there.
96.
Times?
74.
That's 296. 7104, right? 7104. Let's try another one. I'll get faster as we go. It's all right.
83.
You guys can all do that. 83 times.
91.
That's 7553, right? Yeah, all right. And I'm not memorizing this. I'm calculating, I promise you, all right? Let's try one more volunteer, please. Somebody close to him, if you don't mind, just to keep it logistically easy. Oh, hi. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
What's your name?
Temris.
Okay, let's try something tougher. What do we do there? That's too easy, right? Because you can even do that, right? Let's try division, all right? Let's do 3-digit divided by a 1-digit. Use weird numbers so we'll get some decimals and stuff, all right? So 3-digit by 1-digit.
337.
Divided by?
5.
67.4. Those are easy. Let's try another one. Come on, make it tough.
Okay. 982.
982 divided by?
7.
140.285.714.285.714.285, something like that. All right, okay, got it done. We're good. Good job. All right, thank you. All right, so I guess I'm warmed up now. And who has a calculator right in front of them, real handy? Oh, if you do, I only need 1 or 2. James is going to do this, but I could cheat because there's too many screens. But if you have a calculator or an iPhone, or you want to do this, go ahead. I usually do square roots, but square roots are really easy. People memorize square roots. It's easy to figure those out. So we're going to try cube roots, a little bit tougher, all right? So on your calculator, clear the calculator. And James, you do this too. I won't look. All right, everybody punch in like a crazy 2-digit number to get started. And then hit the times key. And then hit the same 2-digit number again. And hit the times key. And hit the same 2-digit number again. And hit equals. So you should get a big answer on your screen, right? So everybody that did that and you got it and you don't have an E on your screen, tell me the answer you came up with. And what I'll do is extract the cube root out of that number. You see what I mean? All right, so James, what'd you come up with? 47, yeah? Use 47. All right, let's try another one. Come on. Who else? Yep, loud and clear, please. 99. Okay, let's try a tougher one. All the way in the back. I missed the first one. 12167. Really? Really? 23, I think, yeah? Yeah, that's one of my favorites. Let's try another one. Come on, somebody else. Somebody else get one way in the back. Go ahead. 25. Yeah, let's try one more. 82. Yeah, that's your I graduated high school almost. Go ahead. 328,509 is 69. Very good. All right, one more. Anybody else got a tough one? Yeah, one more. 77, right? Yeah, you tried my nemesis number. That's good. All right, so now I can do numbers in my head, right? You believe me, I'm a human calculator. I have this superpower since I was 9 years old. When I was 11, my buddy had a calculator. His name's Andrew McKay. I always give him credit because your friends ask you the best questions sometimes that open up windows and opportunities in your life that you never would have found yourself. We all these blind spots. Andrew happened to ask me a great question at the right moment. On a calculator that he had, punch in 5 plus 5, please, James. And you should get 10, right? So now if James hits equals one more time, what will the calculator say? I heard 3 different answers. I heard 10, 15, and 20. Which one do you think it is? It's 15. Go ahead, James, hit equals. And keep hitting equals, get a nice little rhythm, and just show them how a calculator counts by a number. This is called a constant. My buddy had a calculator. He's like, Scott, we know you can do all these basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Can you do this? Our calculator is counting by a number. I'm just hitting equals. So he did 28 plus 28 equals. And he just started hitting equals, and he wanted me to add 28 over and over again. And it was like a sense awoke in my brain. I'll never forget it. I was in front of Mr. Murphy's class. I remember everything about it. And I'm sitting there, and it's 28, 56, 84. And it just started making sense to me. And so I want to demonstrate that for you first. All right, so somebody over here, please pick a 2-digit number you'd like me to count by. Good number. 27 plus 27 equals. And you'll see that my brain gets going faster and faster, all right? So tell me when you're ready, James. You ready to rock and roll? Okay. So 27 plus 27 is 54, 81, 108, 135, 162, 189, 216, 243, 270, 297, 324, 351, 378, 405, 432, 459, 486, 513, 540, 567, 594, 621, 648, 675, 702, 729, 756, 783, 8108, 378, 648, 919, 945, 972, 999, yada, 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 like that. Oh, three more. One more. Yeah, there you are, James. Good job. 999, all right? So that's my gift that I discovered when I was very young. And everybody's like, what do you do with that? Nobody knew what to do with me. My teacher thought I was an alien. They don't, nobody's wanted to talk to me. So it's just a gift. Nobody knew what to do with it. Well, I got very blessed. A friend of mine in Los Angeles, his name's Eric Schatz. He has a company called LMNO Productions. And I did a show for them a long time ago called How'd They Do That? And it's all about networking. It amazes me because years later, Eric got the rights to Guinness World Records TV show in America. And he called me up as a friend and said, Scott, what can we do with you to get you into the Guinness Book of World Records and get on the TV show? And then we talked about it, and I said, there's this one thing I can do, this counting by a number. And he goes, yeah, that's pretty crazy. Let's see if we can do that. So here's the contest they set up. They found the fastest accountant in the world that can run a 10-key calculator to race me counting by a number. So the judge chose the number 38. So I had to add 38 plus 38 plus 38 out loud as fast as I could, racing this guy on a calculator doing 38 plus 38 plus 38 plus 3 as fast as he could. At the end of the 15 seconds, he had 28 answers, and I had 35. So I actually beat the machine by 7. Since then, I've been invited to break that world record in London on TV there. I did it with 36. And in Japan, I got to 37 answers in 15 seconds. So I want to demonstrate for you what it sounds like when I'm going full speed. Because that first example, you can tell I went slow, medium, fast, and then I go crazy. This one, I'm just going to go crazy, all right? So, sir, would you pick a 2-digit number? 72, I like that. All right, so 72 plus 72. This time I'm going to try to go full speed. If anybody has a clock, if you have 15 seconds. Anybody who's got a watch? Clock, anybody? Who's going to be a timer? Come on, the iPhone has timers. You guys know that. All right, we have one. So when I say 72, you just start 15-second clock. And when I finish, just say stop or shut up or whatever you want. All right, you ready? Okay, we're doing 72, right? Ready, James? You got it? Okay, I'm ready to go.
721442162883641928556493613681440512152124418.
Let's see where we're at. Oh, that's divided by 72. You should have 34 or something like that. I don't know. That should be 35. Go ahead, divide by 72. That'll be 35 answers, so 34. So you can see how fast I have to, everything has to be perfect to get to 37, so thank you very much. And what I didn't get to do on that show that I'd love to do now is, it was so funny. We did this, and I beat the calculator. The judge comes over, and he says, Scott, you're in the Guinness Book of World Records. And I don't know why, but if you go to a public school and you open up the library and you look in the library, the Guinness Book of World Records is in every school. Kids are fascinated by this book. When I go to schools and kids introduce me by opening up the Guinness Book of World Records and reading your world record, all the other kids in the room, it changes everything. It's an amazing thing to be in the Guinness Book of World Records. It's really an honor. I didn't realize how much energy it would have in my mission. But what was funny was we went to the commercial break and the judge said, Scott, you beat the machine, you're in the book. He goes, but we think you're cheating. I was like, how do you cheat counting by 72? He goes, well, we think maybe you've just memorized all these numbers. Here we are at Jim Quick's memory class, right? I mean, you could memorize this stuff, Jim. If Jim just took a month off, he could memorize all the answers and count by 72 too, pretty fast. And I said, but that's not what I do. First off, I think calculating is faster than memorization. I can beat any memorization person on the planet Earth with calculation. I believe our minds calculate faster than they retrieve memory. Memory's second place, okay? But what I'm going to demonstrate for you is that I'm not memorizing this, that I can count by any number, all right? So let's go to this table over here. Sir, would you pick let's live on the edge. Calculator always starts at 0. So they thought I memorized every number starting at 0. I said, what if I could just count by starting at any number, then count by 72? They said, all right, that would prove to us you're not remember. Jim, you would agree it's tough to memorize every number from every number, right? Full-time job. All right, so we'll pick a 3-digit number as our new 0 for this example.
873.
Prime number almost. 291 times 3 and 97 times 9. But it's a good number, 873. I won't hold it against you. All right, so I'm just kidding. So we have 873. Now, I promise you I've never done this pattern before. I don't even know what he's going to say next, but I've never practiced starting at 873. So you have plus now, what 2-digit number do you want me to count by starting at 873? So you ready to go, James? You got 899, 925, 951, 977, 1003, 1029, 1055, 1081, 1107, 1133, 1159, 1185, 1211, 1237, 1263, 1289, 1315, 134, 11367, 1393, 1419, 1445, 1471, yada, yada, yada. It just keeps going. My brain is wired like a calculator, all right? So thank you. So I'm not memorizing, I'm calculating. So today, I want to show you that each one of you have a calculator in your brain. I'm very honored to be on a show right now called Superheroes with Stan Lee. An amazing thing. I just got back from Scandinavia. Kids, every kid has watched that show over there on the Discovery or the History Channel. It's an amazing vehicle. It's really an honor to be considered superhuman, right? I mean, you know, it's very rare, and to be on that show is one thing, but one of the things I just want to show you real quick is this, before you go, James, all right? Because it's easier if you're here. Is that okay? We'll do this one? All right, so I have a gift to be the human calendar as well. I can calculate dates. All right, so you can give me any date in history, and I can figure out what day of the week it was on. All right, so do we have any people that remember like a kid's birthday, a wedding, something like that? Okay, way in the back. Just start with month, day, year.
April 27th, 1966.
Wednesday, about 3:30. Just kidding on the time. But 66, Wednesday, right? Wednesday, there you go. All right, come on, it's tougher dates. Yep. October 2nd, 47, right? Thursday. You're born on a Thursday. Let's see if he can get there. Should be, dude. See how computers are so slow? Right? There you go. Was that, October 2nd? I think he said 46, didn't he? What'd you say? 47. I said it right anyway. I got a lucky guess. Yeah, go ahead. Anton, go ahead.
June 13th, 2047.
Ooh, a future date will be a Thursday. It's almost Friday the 13th, but not quite. I think. I don't know. I'm just guessing at this point. I just hope James makes me look good. Come on, James. Thursday. All right. Good job, buddy. All right. So I can calculate any day of the week and figure out what day of the week it was on. It seems like a different type of trick. Like, what purpose would that serve? But it played a big role in my life. And so I want to share that with you next. But first, can we give James a big hand for helping out, buddy? Thank you, buddy. Great job, man. Good seeing you in person. All right. I'll see you out. All right, so now we're going to think like a calculator. To show you all these things that I've done and that I said I could teach you how to do, there's a couple things I want to show you. And we're going to start with this app on the iPad. It's called Whiteboard Pro. Let me make sure that it's, see, it works. It's just a little tricky. All right, so here we go. Everybody, take a look at this. I am going to write something down that you all did when you were about 9 years old. Our teacher made us write these 10 numbers across the page. And I'll never forget this day. It was in 4th grade. I was 9 years old. And our teacher wrote down 0 through 9. And I was not a good student. I was more of a troublemaker and bored and, you know, just trying to fill the time. And for some reason, I stopped my teacher and I said, hey, wait a minute. Who picked those shapes? Why does the 4 look like that? Why does the 7 look, why does the 3 look like the 2? Who picked those shapes? Why did they pick those shapes? And my teacher looked at me like, wow, you know, I've never even thought about that. I don't know the answer to that. She asked some math friends. They didn't know the answer to it. We started asking more people. Nobody could tell me the answer. I was like, how is it we're using these? And nobody can even tell me where they came from or why they look like they do. So it's taken me about 30 years. I've searched the world. And what I want to do is first introduce to you what I call chapter 0. I believe it's the missing chapter in math, that if we would all learn what you're about to learn now first, it would give every kid on our planet a chance to really understand math. But we start off wrong. First off is look at how many numbers are up there. How many numbers did I write down? 10. Is there a 10 on there anywhere? No. So when you turn on a calculator, look at this calculator. How many buttons have numbers on that machine? There's 10. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's no 10 on a calculator. But here's what we do to kids, and you guys have all done this your whole life, is we confuse people. Because here's what we do. The human body has 10 fingers, and we've all learned to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's indoctrinated in our brain. It is everywhere. And this is what's confusing us. Because when you turn on a calculator, it always starts at 0. The only reason a calculator works is because it starts at 0. So if you want to turn on your calculator, you have to start at 0. So watch this. 10 fingers, 10 digits. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's really 0 through 9. No magic. It's just thinking like a calculator. So everybody, please take your hands, put them up in the air. Shake out that 1 through 10. A bunch of crazy Romans did that to us. Close your fists. And now start with 0 on the first finger. You ready? 0.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So now you're all thinking like a calculator, 0 through 9. So I can share with you the different things that happened to me that allowed me to have this sense of numbers, I guess. But look at the shapes up here. I asked my teacher where the shapes come from. They didn't know. I found the answer, I think. The inventors of this language were fighting the Roman numerals. The Roman numerals were the biggest number system in the world. The Roman Empire was managing the world, basically. And so Roman numerals were what were trusted. Your finances were done in Roman numerals. Everything in society was done in Roman numerals. They were trusted. This was like magic. This was this new invention, this new language of numbers. So nobody trusted them. So they were doing everything they could to make this as easy as possible to teach. They came up with a brilliant idea. The shapes were meant to be able to communicate to you the value of each shape by how many angles are in the shape. So they looked a little bit differently. The 0 is a circle. How many angles in a circle? 0. So when you look at that shape, you know there's a value of 0. The number 1 started out a little bit differently. It started like that. And this shape gives you 1 angle right there. So everybody knew that shape had a value of 1. The number 2 started out like our letter Z. And this shape gives you 2 angles. So everybody knew that shape had a value of 2. The number 3 started out like a hieroglyph, looked like that. This shape gives you 1, 2, 3 angles, 3 corners. So everybody knew that had a value of 3. The number 4 looked a little differently. It started out like this. And this shape gives you 1, 2, let me go back here. 2, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 angles. See how that works? Pretty easy, right? I mean, it makes sense when you start to think about it. 5 was tough. They had to put a tail on it. This gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 angles, 5 corners. 6 was really easy. They just put a box on it. Looked like that. This shape will give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 corners, 6 angles. And when I'm doing shows at schools, it's always funny because the kids don't care about anything until they get to 7. They're like, how are you going to get 7 angles out of that? But somebody really brilliant came up with this. They added 2 lines. This gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Isn't that so simple, right? But it would have taken me like centuries to figure that out. And now 8. 8 was the easiest one. It's just an hourglass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right. And 9 was the tough one. They called this one the ugly duckling. Looked pretty bad, but it got the job done. That's 9 angles right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So why don't we learn that in like 3rd grade? Everybody should know that. It just seems so cool. Like when I show this to students, they feel connected to numbers. They feel like they know something they didn't know before. It makes them feel like numbers, they can understand them better, might be their friend. So this is what was happening to me in 4th grade. Everybody got that? Cool? Easy, right? Okay. So now let's go back to the numbers again, 0 through 9. And now, same day, our teacher now wants us to write down these 10 numbers again. And this time we have to spell them. So in your head, spell each number, 0, Z-E-R-O, 1, O-N-E, and so on. What number up there, when you spell it, has the same number of letters as its number value? 4. 4 is spelled F-O-U-R. Maybe it's because I was in 4th grade. I was fascinated on the number 4 in 4th grade, maybe. But I was writing down these answers, and I noticed that 4 had 4 letters, and I was just so excited. I ran up to my teacher. I was like, this is incredible. 4 has 4 letters. And she's like, what's wrong with you, Scott? Who cares? The 4 has 4 letters. I said, it's really cool because no other number does that. 0 doesn't have 0 letters. 1 doesn't have 1 letter. 7 doesn't have 7 letters. The only number in English that has the same number of letters as its number value is the number 4. I was so intrigued by that, and that's what made me notice the next thing. Is take a look at the numbers up here. Which numbers up here, when you spell them, use 4 letters? Say it when you see them. I heard 5. What else? 0. That's the one people usually miss. There's another one. I heard it. 9. So we have 0, 4, 5, and 9 are all 4-letter words. And maybe you noticed how many numbers have 4 letters? 4. So I'm freaking out again. I run up to my teacher. I go, check this out. 4 numbers have 4 letters. She's like, who cares? What's the big deal? I said, this is the way, I mean, it makes sense because look, It splits your numbers. When you're doing it this way, watch where the four-letter words end up. 0 through 4, 5 through 9. The four-letter words are bookends on your fingers to help you remember to count from 0 to 4, 5 to 9. 10 has nothing to do with numbers, all right? Everybody cool? And then one other number. It's no big deal, but I have to bring it up because it was a really funny moment. My teacher, I was working on the number 7, and I was looking at the word spelled S-E-V-E-N. And I caught it right away. I don't know why. Maybe you guys still haven't noticed it, or you eventually did. But if you cross off the S, you end up with the word even. But 7 is an odd number. So I just walked up to my teacher. I said, who put the word even in an odd number? Why did you do that? And she's like, oh, I never noticed that before. No big deal. I was like, are you kidding me? This is a huge problem. We have to fix this immediately. And I didn't even sleep that night. I was so distraught over this. But it hit me the next day. We had to change 7 to sod. Try it one time. You're not liking it. That's okay. It's all right. It's probably not going to catch on. But and it would mess up my whole four-letter word thing, so it's okay. But this is how I started thinking about numbers, and it was really challenging for my teachers because I was asking all these crazy questions. They didn't know where I was coming from next. But the next day is the day that changed my life. 4th grade, Mrs. Love's class, Herkimer, New York. I am in the back of the room where I always sat next to my best friend. Him and I were on the same baseball team, and we would talk about math the whole time. And for some reason, our teacher was showing us how to do this. We had to learn how to add numbers where you carry. All right, so 7 plus 2 is 9, 10, 14. Carry. So can anybody tell me the answer to that? I think I already heard it. I did, 54. Who got that so quick? Wow, that was very cool. I'll quiz you later. All right, so let's try this. How did everybody do it when I asked you to add this up? Did you go 7 plus 2 is 9, plus 1 is 10, plus 4 is 14, write down the 4, carry the 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, plus the 1 is 5. Is that how you do it? Worst way to add. Absolutely the worst way to add those 4 numbers together, and yet we teach every kid on the planet to do that. I got really lucky that day because I was not paying attention to my teacher. I didn't hear that we had to add these numbers up from the right and then carry and all that stuff. I did not hear a word. And she saw me not paying attention. She said, Scott, why don't you come on up and do this problem for us? I was totally busted. I'm walking up to the front of the room thinking, I already hate math. I'm going to hate math even more now when I get done with this. I get up to the board, and for some reason, my brain went backwards. I started over here at the 10s. I said, that's a 10, that's a 10, that's a 10, that's a 10. So I started keeping a running total in my head. 10 plus 10 is 20, plus 10 is 30, plus 10 is 40. And then I just kept going. 40 plus 7 is 47, plus 2, 49, plus 1, 50, plus 4, 54. And I just wrote down the answer. My teacher was amazed that I got it right because she thought I was not listening. And she said, Scott, how did you get this answer? Where's your carry? You're supposed to put a 1 up here. I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. What's a carry? She goes, you have to start over here and go this way and carry. And I said, oh, I started over here and I went this way. She goes, no, you have to go this way. I said, but I'm faster than you going this way. She said, all right, you do this one. So everybody try this one on your own and see how you do. Just raise your hand when you get the answer. Please don't say it out loud so everybody can experience it. Just raise your hand. Already? Come on. Keep them up. I want to see who gets it and who's not getting it. Really? What's the answer? Say it. 88. You know what's funny? When I started the show, I added up a whole bunch of 2-digit numbers. I raced the calculator. I beat the calculator. I got it right, the first one. And I stopped the show and I asked all of you, how many of you can do that? And do you remember your reaction? You all started laughing out loud, like that I even asked you. No less wanted to show you how to do it. How many of you got that right? Almost everybody in the room. First try. If you'll practice this for 5 minutes, ask your friends or family to write down some 2-digit numbers, practice adding them up. You'll be able to do this faster in your head than anybody on a calculator. 20, 40, 60, 70, 79, 88. Boom. Start grouping. You're going to be like that. Little kids do this. Little 3rd, 4th, 5th graders beating their teachers, punching the numbers into the calculator. So when I asked you if you could do that and you all started laughing, you didn't think you could do it, and now you know how easy it is and you can do it, here's my next question to you. What else can you do that you didn't think you could do? What limits do we put on ourselves? What limits are we putting on our kids with our education system and our mentality in society? How we think like this limits our brain activity, limits our potential. It doesn't allow us to reach our potential. So this was an accident that happened to me in 4th grade that changed my life, because from that point forward, I would always look for an easier way to get the answer. When we started learning division, multiplication, all these things, I would look for easier ways to get the answer. Just give you one more example, because I want to move on to something else, is multiplication. What's 7 times 7? 9 times 9. 12 times 12. No math. You have all memorized those questions. Not one person in this room calculated anything. You all memorized this stuff. We teach our kids to memorize their math. 7 plus 7, 9 times 9. These are all memorized. They're not learning it, they're memorizing it, so they get the passing grade, teacher gets paid, the parents are happy, and then they wake up in algebra and go, what happened? What's going on? You know, there's no understanding of basic arithmetic. So I just want to show you one more thing that happened to me. What's 7 times 11? 4 times 11? 11 is a magic number. I was 11 years old when I noticed this, so it really got my attention. Here's how we do arithmetic, 24 times 11. Not just in America, but around the world. We teach kids to go like this. 4 times 1 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. Don't forget the 0 or it's all wrong. 4 times 1 is 4. 2 times 1 is 2. You add these all together. Is that how you guys multiply? Worst way to multiply. All right, so let me show you the fastest way. There's 6 ways to multiply numbers together, but we only teach one, the worst one, by the way. It literally is a trick, but I can't get into all those today, but I just want to show you this one about the number 11, because I was 11 when I noticed this, but watch how easy 11 is. Any number times 11, 3 steps to getting the answer. First step, just take this back number and drop it down here on the back. Take the front number, drop it into the front, and then just add them together. What's 2 plus 4? 6, and put it in the middle. Same answer. No, hardly any work, right? It's an easy mental exercise. So let's try it. I'm going to erase that. Let's all try one. Let's do 32 times 11. What's the answer? 3, 2. What's in the middle? 5. So what is 43 times 11? 473. You're not doing a lot of arithmetic, but you're not memorizing anything either. This gives your kids a chance to break out of that 10 by 10 memory box that we make kids go through, all right? Okay, so I talked to Jim about this before the show, and I want to do more math, but I only have so much time, and I really want to get into something that's very time sensitive. I didn't know what to do with my gift. I was in school. My parents didn't know what to do with me. My teachers didn't know what to do with me. I was in upstate New York. We didn't have a gifted program. And I was not very attentive. I was more into sports, so I was more of a distraction for my teachers. And I ended up not graduating high school. I failed English my senior year by 1 point, and they would not give me my high school diploma. In New York, you have to have an English credit. Your senior year, I had scholarships for math, baseball, different things, forfeited everything, Regents scholarships. It was a very painful day in my life. My teacher failed me by 1 point on an essay so that I couldn't graduate. And it was a brutal, brutal day. Had to turn in my gown, miss my graduation event, cancel my party. It was a brutal day, brutal week. And I decided to run. And so I joined the United States Air Force, and I left upstate New York, and I got as far away as I could. I went in the Air Force. They heard about my skills, and they took me to Japan as a special duty assignment. I got to do some crazy stuff, learn Japanese, do all kinds of really crazy projects, things like that. It was a lot of fun. But about 4 or 5 years into my Air Force time, my supervisor's son failed 2nd grade math. And he said, hey, can you sit down with Travis and just talk to him? Show him some things. We know you're good with numbers. And I sat down with him for 30 minutes. The next day, his school called and said, I don't know what you told this kid, but you got to come in and talk to the rest of the class. I had never spoken publicly. I walked into a group of 2nd and 3rd graders. There were maybe 25 of them. And I had the most amazing 40 minutes of my life. Those kids were so excited about what I could do, but more importantly, they were so excited about what I was showing them. I was like, holy cow, I have this God-given ability, but to find a way to use it, to inspire others, is just dream come true. I ran back to my base. I said, I got to get some time off. Please give me the afternoons off so I can start visiting more schools. And my supervisor, my big supervisor, said, no, absolutely not. So I snuck in some schools when I could on my own private time, and I just kept getting more and more requests, and so I finally decided to get kicked out of the Air Force on purpose, which is a very awkward thing to do, and to do it without going to jail is really tricky. So it took me a little bit. I got out, and the thing is they gave me a big re-enlistment bonus when I re-upped, and so they wanted all that back. So I woke up on 8/8/88 with nothing. The Air Force had taken my car and what others, like stereo, whatever, just stuff that, I'd blown my re-enlistment bonus on. And I had nothing except my old car from high school, a 65 Buick Skylark convertible. I pawned it for $1,200, bought a $700 plane ticket to LA to get on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. I had spoken with them on the phone. And I went out there, had a great meeting, and they said, great, we love you, you're going to be on the show, give us your phone number. I was like, I don't have a number. They're like, well, just give us, how do we get a hold of you? I was like, I don't know. I have $200 in my pocket. I've never been to Los Angeles. I need to be on the show like tonight. And they said, that's not how it works. I ended up homeless in Los Angeles for a month, 28 days. Never forget it. Just do what you can. And I met this guy who had a company called, I can't remember the name of it, sorry. But it was just a small business, and it was right on Wilshire Boulevard. And he said, Scott, I'll let you run this part of the office during the day, and at night you can use my office as an apartment. I have a shower, bathroom. You can just use it as an apartment. During the day you work, and at night you can stay here. And I was like, wow, this is great. So I got a gig and a place to stay all at the same time. Well, the only bummer was 28 days later he got kicked out and his company got shut down. So I lost my job in my house the same day, so it was good and bad. So I ended up with nothing there, and he goes, hey, I got a friend in Florida who wants you to fly down there and help him with his project. He's got a little money, he wants to get started. So I flew down to West Palm Beach, Florida, and this guy had invented a glow-in-the-dark doorknob for hotel rooms, for security, for emergency exits. I was like, wow, that's either brilliant or ridiculous. But they're going to pay me, so I'm going to go try to sell it. So 30 days, we met every major hotel chain in Florida, and we sold 0 glow-in-the-dark doorknobs. So I was out of money, I was out of time. This guy didn't have anything left, I had nothing. I called my family. My little sister Cindy was living in Phoenix, Arizona. And she said, Scott, just get to the airport. I got a plane ticket waiting for you. And, come to Phoenix. You can stay at my boyfriend's house for a while, get situated. So it was right after 8/8/88. I'm waiting in West Palm Beach. I have nothing to do that night. I have nowhere to stay. I have 20 hours before my flight, and I walk into the West Palm Beach Public Library. And I'm going through the math section, which most homeless people do, when they're hanging out at the library's math section. And I walk through and I see this little book. It's like this big and this thin. It's ancient. It's over 100 years old. And nobody had checked it out in like 50 years. And the guy had said that there's a calendar, a way to calculate the day of the week of the calendar. I was like, all right, it's all numbers. I can handle the numbers, so let's see what the formula is. So I wrote down, after a few hours of looking at it, reading through how he was doing it, I took on a 3.5 by 5 index card with a little pencil that you get at the library, and I wrote down this little algorithm, put it in my pocket, got on the plane the next day, and got this algorithm in my head so that I could figure out what day of the week it was on. I landed in Phoenix. My little sister Cindy picks me up at the airport, and I said, Cindy, what's your birthday? July 23rd, 60. I was like, oh, you're born on a Tuesday. She goes, who cares? I was like, great, that's going to be a good skill. As it's worked out, now, serving as the global ambassador of World Maths Day, which I'll tell you about at the end, every school I visit, hundreds of kids. The best part is not my show. The best part is afterwards, the kids all get a card from me, and they put their name and their birth date down. And I get to have a moment with them. I get to say their name. I get to look at their birthday. I get to tell them it was a Tuesday or a Friday. Autograph it. Just have a few seconds with each kid. And that is the coolest part of what I do. I get to see the kids' reactions to what I taught them during the show. I get to do something, not just some random math trick. I'm giving their birthday. These kids are running home and saying, Mom, was I born on a Friday? This guy figured it out in half a second. It connects me with them on a whole different level. It's really turned into something special for me. But we have a very special day coming up very soon. 12/21/12. For those of you who don't know, that's the end of the Mayan calendar. You've all heard about this, right? Okay, so I don't have to get into that. The Mayan calendar comes to an end of a cycle on December 21st, 2012. After I discovered that I could calculate the day of the week, all these other questions started coming to my head. Why do we use a calendar that's so difficult to figure out what day of the week a date is on? Here's the algorithm you have to do to figure out what day of the week a date is on. You have to take the year plus the year divided by 4 plus the date plus the month divided by 7. That's what I have to do to calculate what day of the week a date is on. I have to put all those numbers in, all those variables. For those of you that are writing it down, just so you have it if you want it, here are the variables for the months. Each month has a number valued. It's not 1 through 12. It goes like this. January is a 0, February is 3, March is 3, April 6, May 1, June is 4, July is 6, August 2, September 5, October 0, November 3, December 5. Those are the values you got to know. So there's all kinds of numbers floating around. But I won't get into the algorithm of this as much as I will the questions it made me ask. Why are we using this crazy calendar? Do you know the calendar we use is called the, what calendar? Gregorian calendar. Anybody know why it's called Gregorian? Pope Gregory the 13th in 1569 realized that the calendar we were using from the time of Julius Caesar was miscalculating leap years. They were miscalculating leap years this whole time. So the only reason, I don't want to say the only reason, the big reason the Roman calendar, the Gregorian calendar exists is to calculate Easter. Easter is the big day. It has to be after a full moon, after the spring equinox. There's all these little variables that have to be added up to keep this thing, this very special day to them, on the right day. Because they miscalculated, they were off by 10 days. So from 1569 to 1582, the Pope Gregory and his team tried to figure out what to do, and here was what they did. Everybody went to bed October 5th, 1582, and they woke up on October 15th, 1580. They decided to just skip 10 days. People missed birthdays, weddings, rent. I mean, people were crazy. Russia was so mad they didn't adopt it for like 300 years. They were so upset. It really offended everybody, but the Pope did it, papal decree. You couldn't do that today, just say, hey, let's just skip 10 days. But the Roman calendar makes no sense. We start the year on January 1st. Can anybody tell me why? Why do we start the year on January 1st?